Let's begin. All right, guys. So we're going to be writing equations in slope-intercept form. So we should all have this. And so slope-intercept form has two very important parts, right? It has a slope and a y-intercept. So we're constantly going to be looking for the slope and the y-intercept numbers, m and b. But sometimes we get lucky. In some equations, they provide those values for us, right? So look at these first six. If we have to find the slope and the y-intercept and that information's given, well, just write it out. And we might have to simplify a little bit. So for example, the model is y equals mx plus b, right? Replace the m and the b with the slope and the y-intercept. So let's do that. Yes. Now, then you could just simplify that if you need to. Since the slope is 0, 0 times x is 0, it's nothing. Our final answer in this particular one, it's usually not the case, is y equals 9. So there we go. Most of the time we don't get something like that. But this is basically going to be a horizontal line, remember? Okay. Now, most of the time it's going to be like this one. Y equals negative 1x plus 0. We can simplify this to, and we don't have to put the plus 0. Okay. On the next one, y equals 2x. Just write minus 3. You don't have to put plus negative 3 if you want to. Since this is our notes, maybe I'll show you this. But you're going to want to simplify that. You don't want to leave it as plus negative 3. Just write it as y equals 2x minus 3. Much cleaner, simpler, elegant. So I'm going to just box in my final answers. Okay. So I want you to try the last 3, 4, 5, and 8. Go ahead and write down the equations for those. Okay. Oh well. I thought I would pause. It didn't pause. Hopefully you got y equals negative 3x plus 7 for the first one. Number 5 should be y equals 4x minus 2. And then the last one is y equals, I know. Oh, is it? It is paused. I did. I thought it didn't take. It did take. There we go. So hopefully these are the answers you got. All right, guys. So as long as we know the slope and the y-intercept, writing these equations are super easy. So now let's take a look at some graphs. So we have a graph here, right? And we're hunting down two pieces of information. Slope and Y-intercept. So let's kind of really look at number 7. Okay, so on number 7 here, I'm looking for the slope M and the Y-intercept B. And, well, the Y-intercept's actually pretty easy to find. They even gave it to you there, right? This line is crossing at -1. How do we find the slope? Rise over run. Start at the line that's furthest to the left and move your way to the line furthest to the right. So in this case, we're starting at -1, 3, and we're moving to 0, -1. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. -4. And then I'm going to move to the right. So that's going to be +1. So the slope is -4 ones, but just write it as -4 in this case. And we got our equation, y equals -4x minus 1.
Wait, why is it -1? I just said it was positive.
No, the y-intercept though.
Oh.
The y-intercept's where the line crosses the y-axis.
Oh.
The y value for that is -1. It's this one here. So on all of these, it's going to give us the y-intercept if you notice. They're kind of nice that way.
Did you come up with these problems or did you just like consider?
I printed it out. I'm going to come up with some other ones that aren't going to be so nice in a little bit. Okay, let's do the next one. Let's do this point at the origin. Again, I'm picking the point furthest to the left, so I want to go up. ¿Cuántos? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 again. And then 2 across. So my slope is 4/2, or actually better to write it as 2. And the y-intercept is 0.
X equals 2x minus.
Y equals
Oh yeah, y.
2x. I could put +0, but I could just leave it without it, right?
Yeah.
It's better to write it without the +0. Okay, let's try the next one. We want the slope and the y-intercept. Let's see what we get. So this is going to be positive, I can tell, because it's going uphill. And we go up. We got to be careful, though. We want to go up 2 and across 2. So that would be 2 over 2, which is 1. And the y-intercept is 1. It's crossing at 1, right? So y equals 1x, but 1x should be written as just x plus 1. So it's y equals x plus 1. Okay. So let's try the last 3. Any questions? Okay. Ooh, the next one looks a little challenging here. Let's see here. Again, I'm going to start at this point here, and I'm going to go down. You got to be careful, though. What are we counting by? Increments? 2. Increments of 2. I know they're putting a number at every every fourth one, but it's increments of 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. So if I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not -4, it's -8. This is -8. And if I go across 1.5, it's not 1.5, it would be 3. So now the slope is -8/3. Right? I went down 8/3. And the y-intercept is 5. Again, you look for where it crosses the y-axis. Yeah, follow the line until it crosses the y-axis. Or if they give you the coordinate, it's wherever x is 0. Yes?
Oh, wouldn't it be 9/3 because it starts at a half?
Oh, did it start at a half?
Yeah.
Ay, Dios. You are right. I need an eye checkup. I like the slope -8/3 better because I wanted a fraction there. So bad, I forced it. You're right. Well, it's going to be -9/3. Yeah. So let's fix that. Thank you, Brandon. It's going to be -9/3, which is -3. But the y-intercept is still 5. So our slope is -3, the y-intercept's 5. Y equals okay. All right. So now, let's see here. We're going to go from this point over to, yeah, this point, I guess. So we're going to do that. Okay. So what is our slope here? 1/2. I got my fraction that I was looking for. So the slope is 1/2. Well, we're going uphill. That's the first hint that this is positive. Yeah, if you see the line going uphill, it's going to be positive. And where's it crossing the y-axis? -2. So let's write the equation. Y equals 1/2 x minus 2. Okay. Now, let's do this one. We'll start at the 0, 3 point, work our way down. So this one's going to be a negative slope. It's going downhill. And this is 1, 2, 3, so -3. And then we're going to go across how many? 4. So that would be -3/4. And the y-intercept is at 3. So here we go. Y equals -3/4 x plus 3. Okay. All right. Now, so yes.
You said that we're gonna do we're gonna find the rise over run. Like we're gonna do this equation both the ordered pairs.
Yes. So the last part.
I already figured out how to get it.
Oh, okay. let's go ahead and, is everyone done with this side? Anyone still writing? Okay, so what I'm going to do, in case you're wondering where is he going? Okay, I folded this in half, right? I'm going to go onto this side, this piece. Okay. So what we are doing, ladies and gentlemen, is writing y equals mx plus b given 2 points. So go ahead and write that down. Writing y equals mx plus b given 2 points. And we'll do 4 examples. So the first thing, though, is we need to reacquaint ourselves with that slope formula. Remember the slope formula? The difference in y values over the difference in x values. I'll write it. Oops. Yes. The slope m is equal to y2 minus y1, the difference in the x values, over x2 minus x1, the difference in the x values. Okay? So we're going to find the slope
Of each one.
of each pair. Then we're going to pick an ordered pair. To find b. So we're going to find the slope first of all, using the slope formula. Then we're going to pick one of our 2 ordered pairs. Doesn't matter which one, whichever ordered pair you would rather work with. And then we're going to plug it in and to find b. Basically do a quick little algebra equation. So let's do it. So number 1, here is our ordered pair, 1, 8, and -1, -2. Okay, go ahead and write those down. 1, 8, and -1, -2. Now, if you like, and since this is our first example, we'll label them. Normally, we won't, but this is our first example. We'll label them x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, let's go ahead and find the slope. And someone mentioned, is this where you take the order pair numbers and turn them? Yes. Start with the second one. Imagine you turn it counterclockwise. Okay. If I turn it counterclockwise, -2 is on top. It goes here.
Like a flip.
Right. And -1 is on the bottom, like a flip. Just a rotation. Yes. Yeah. And then we're going to do the same thing with 1, 8. Turn it so 8's on top.
It's like before where it's like x2 minus x1.
Yeah. So here we have this. If you want, you can, and I probably would if I were you. Go ahead and change this. Change this to adding. Keep, change, opposite. Keep, change, opposite. Just easier to work with is addition. All I did was change it to addition problems. So let's see, what do we get? -10 over -2. Positive 5. So now we got our slope. It's 5. Okay? So now we know the slope is 5. So now the second part is pick an XY. Pick either ordered pair, 1, 8 or -1, -2. It doesn't matter. 1, 8. I would pick 1, 8. So I'm going to pick this one. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our slope-intercept equation. We're going to plug in every number that we know. Do we have a number for y? 8. Do we have a slope? We have a slope, remember? 5.
5x?
Well, here's the thing. Do we know a number for x? Yeah, we do. Remember, this is the ordered pair that we picked. This is going to, we're going to substitute 1 and 8 for x and y in that equation.
That why we chose that one?
Yeah.
What if we would have picked negative?
Well, you'll get the same answer, but you got to play around with negatives. So if you got positives, pick the positives. Okay? So I had to pick one of them, and I would have to replace x and y with those numbers. So here's my equation. 8 equals 5 times 1 plus b. Well, let's simplify that. 5 times 1 is 5, so I got 8 equals 5 plus b. 5 plus what number gives me 8? Guess what b is? And if you don't believe me, let's do a simple solution. Take away 5, take away 5, cancel. B turns out to be 3. So now we got our b value. We can write our equation. Y equals 5x plus 3. This equation is y equals 5x plus 3. Boom. Okay, so that's going to be the process. Use the slope formula to find the slope. That's about the hardest thing. Take that slope, one of the points, plug it into the point slope form, and then figure out what b is. Okay, so let's do that a couple more times. Okay, what number are we at? 2. Okay, número 2. Let's do the ordered pair. 3, -8, and 1, -2. Okay, so the same thing. We're going to start by finding the slope. So let's plug in some numbers there. Okay. Again, I'll start with the second one. Turn the numbers and put them in this first slot. -2 and 1. Take the first ordered pair, turn the numbers, put them in there. -8 and 3. Okay. And let's do a little keep change opposite here. Basically, anytime I see negatives in there, I do this. Keep it, change it, you want the opposite. Keep it, change it, you want the opposite. So now let's see what that gives us. We got -2 plus 8.
6.
6. We got 1 plus -3. -2. That simplifies to -3. We got a slope now. -3. Okay? So now take that slope, take one of these ordered pairs, either 3, 8, or 1, -2. Doesn't matter which one. Let's take this one since we took the,
The one.
yeah, it has a 1, and we also picked the first one last time, so it won't matter which one. Let's plug it into the equation, y equals mx plus b. Okay.
3x, no, minus 3 equals 1.
Well, we're picking this one,
Oh,
so we want this equation. So I'll just write it, y equals mx plus b, just to remind ourselves where everything goes. So we're going to replace y first. With what number? Yeah, I'm picking this one. So -2 equals m, but instead of m, I'm going to put, well, the slope is -3.
1.
The slope is -3. Instead of x, instead of multiplying it times x, we multiply it times 1. And we'll simplify this. -3 times 1 is -3, so we get -2 equals -3 plus b. Okay.
Isn't it the exact same thing?
Well,
We just don't have the parentheses in the
yeah. But now we have to solve this equation, right? It's going to equal 1, right? Let's just double check. +3 here, +3 there. Cancels. -2 plus 3 is 1. But also we could think of it logically. -2 equals -3 plus 1, right? So in the end, we get b equals 1.
1 equals b.
Yeah. And now we can write our equation. Replace m with -3 and b with 1. So our equation is y equals -3x plus 1. Okay. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, ready for the next one? We might make this the last one. Number 3. Okay, number 3, the ordered pairs are 5, 8, 5, 8, y 5 negativo, 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug in. Slope formula, here we come. All right, so let's see here. What numbers would go in this first slot here? 2 and -5. 2 here, -5 there. Well, so then 8 would go here.
And
Okay.
well, which is
2, -5, and 8, 5. Any questions? Let's change those. I see some negatives, so I feel more comfortable changing it to addition. Keep, change, opposite. Keep, change, opposite. Let's see what that gives us. 2 and -8 is -6. -5 plus -5 is negative. Well, you're adding them, remember?
1, 0.
We get -10. I could reduce that, right? I got -6 over -10.
By 2. 3 over 5.
3 over 5. 3/5. We got a fraction of a slope. Or as a slope. Hmm?
Mr. But how come the 3/5 is in negative?
Because it's a negative divided by a negative. Question? Oh, that's a good question. I would do 5/8. I would do 5/8, but you know what? That's just me. If you're a big fan of negatives, go with -5. Now, this looks hard, right? The thing that's going to save us is the denominator is 5. Watch. Okay, let's plug it in. Y equals mx plus b. So let's plug it in. Instead of y, we put in the number 8. Our slope is 3/5 times the x, which is, okay. So now, we have 8 equals 3/5 times 5 plus b, right? I'm going to do this, guys. I'm going to make that 5 ones. I'm multiplying 3/5 times 5/8, or 5 ones rather. 15/5. 15/5, which reduces to 3. Or, since you're multiplying, remember cross canceling? You can cross cancel. One's in the denominator, one's in the numerator. They cross cancel. 3 times 1 is 3 over 1 is 3. So basically, this is my new equation now. 8 equals 3 plus b. What does b have to be? So I got my b value. Let's write the equation. Y equals 3/5 x plus 5. That's an ugly 3. That looks like a sideways M. No, that's an ugly. I'm sorry, that's a substandard 3, even for me. Okay. All right, guys. Any questions? Yes. Huh? How did I get this 5? Oh, over here. You could do it one of two ways. Subtract 3 from both sides. So take away 3 here, take away 3 there. 8 take away 3 is 5. Or you could say, okay, 8 equals 3 times 3 plus something, right? Well, what does that something have to be? 5, because 3 plus 5 is 8. Thank you. That's a good clarification I needed to do. Okay. Any other wonderful questions? Okay, guys. Anybody still writing this down?